Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ravi Kumar, and I teach public administration. And what should I tell about myself? I've been in the field since 1987. So I'm the old guard here. I'm not, what you can say, the latest shoot and scoot guy. I've been here for the past 30 years and had been watching the paper as it keeps on changing. So, first of all, I would like to know how many of you are aware of the subject called public administration? Anybody aware of the subject? You are able to hear me? Can you answer me? If you are not aware, yeah, that's what I wanted to know. If you are aware of the subject, at least the name public administration, at least that is known only as an optional subject in the civil services or as a part of a government. You heard the word government, is it not so? The word government is nothing but public administration. The word government is nothing but public administration. But whenever government does anything, should be a theory behind it or not? Most of you are engineers or science students, or what are you? What are your background? Arts. Arts means you should not say that you don't know anything about government. But you should tell me. See, when you go to a doctor, would you just sit there on the chair by the side of the doctor and just ask him to diagnose what are your problems? No, you have to tell, is it not so? Only when you say that this is my complaint, he'll be able to diagnose. So unless you tell me what are you thinking, I cannot tell you what is needed. So my discussion always would be a dialogue. I think you understand what do I mean by dialogue, is it not so? It should be a give and take. You should ask me something, I should be able to give you an answer to it. Or I should ask you something, you should be able to give me an answer to that. Right? Public administration is completely different from other optionals, except the languages. Because in the languages, whether you take Telugu, English, or whatever it is that, at least you will be able to understand the issue and answer that question. In other optional subjects, your geography, this one, I don't know how far you will be able to deal with an issue with geography or issue with anthropology or sociology or any other subject. But public administration is different in that it provides you a solution to an answer. Solution to a question. How many of you have seen the paper today, this prelims paper this year? Anyone of you have seen the prelims paper this year? Did you find any questions that are related to public administration? No, all of you are serious about civil services, is it not so? No, I didn't get you. Okay. You see, public administration is something practical. It's not just on a theory. There is a theory, but there is totally practicality. The practicality is that when you say administration, it deals with your day-to-day life. I will tell you one question I had just seen. Most of you would be, if you see the question paper, prelims question paper, I'll tell you what was that question. I wanted to find out that. It was question number 51. I have that question with me. I don't know if you can, and I mean, how it will be useful for you in your day-to-day life. $57.51. Yeah. The question is this. Mr. X, a senior officer, was overseeing a critical vaccination program during a pandemic. He found that a private service provider responsible for vaccine distribution was compromising on quality to make profits. Despite immense pressure to manage the issue due to vested interests, he raised his voice based on the principle of public administration, which he learnt during various training programs attended during his career. He reported the issue to the appropriate vigilance authority and halted the contract to ensure citizen welfare. You are able to understand? Right? Somebody was making profit out of a vaccination process. So an officer who was seeing that has observed it and he reported the matter. Now, the question is this: which among the following principles of public administration was most strongly demonstrated by Mr. X? Which was the principle that he demonstrated? One principle is called esprit de corps. Let me write down that. That is one. The second one is equity. Third one is accountability. Fourth one is delegation. Esprit de corps means team spirit, working together. When you have so many people working, you have to support each other. Okay, that is team spirit. When you say equity, being equitable justice to everybody, whether you are talking about your own person or whether you are talking of a relative or somebody, you should give equal justice to everybody. That's called equity, simply put. The third one is accountability. Whatever you are doing, you should be accountable to the other officer, higher officer, or to the public. In India, when you say democracy, everybody is accountable to the people, because we say, we the people of India give us this constitution this day. Therefore, everybody is accountable to this. The last one is delegation, transferring your responsibility to somebody else. Now, which should be the answer that you think? Accountability. See, this is how you will be able to find an answer for the questions. This is the type of question. For the first time, I am seeing in prelims paper a question directly related to public administration. Sometime back, 5 years back or 6 years back, there was a question on motivation. After that, this is the first time I am seeing another question. A couple of questions are coming like this. So, public administration is not just polity. Most of you think that public administration and polity are one and the same. They are not one and the same. Polity is basically giving you an arrangement of the constitution. Public administration is operating that constitution into practicality. Right? There are so many provisions for SC/ST welfare. Are the programs mentioned in the constitution sufficient, or they should be implemented? Implementation. If you are not able to implement anything properly, nothing will be successful. Is implementation important, or only formulating the plans or policies is important? Which one is important? Is that so? If there is a wrong policy? Exactly. Both have equal importance. But most important thing is, there is one founding father of public administration. He is called Woodrow Wilson. We date the public administration starting from 1887. That was the time when he wrote an essay called Study of Administration. There he said that framing a constitution is very easy. But implementing the constitution is not so easy. Our constitution, as if I ask you, every one of you will tell me that the constitution has taken 2 years, 14 months, 11 days, 36 hours, 36 minutes, 29 seconds, etc., etc. We framed the constitution. Is it not so? Is any aspect of the constitution completely fulfilled? After how many years? 47 to 25, let's say 25. Anything fulfilled? See how difficult it is. Reservations, how difficult it is. And the idea of Atmanirbhar is not new, mind your friends. You might be hearing that is the first time because Narendra Modi is talking about Atmanirbhar. But even before Narendra Modi, there was one Prime Minister of India who is known as the Iron Lady, Indira Gandhi, who said that there is something called self-reliance. She had gone to visit the United States President and the President did not give time to her and she said, to hell with you, and he walked out. She had that guts. And after that, it was Indira Gandhi who first had this nuclear explosion against the wishes of United States. But people forget that, History. You people have very short memory. So people forget that. Okay. Public administration is actually operating the constitution in reality. So when you become a district collector or situation an officer, it is your responsibility to apply the principles of public administration. And when you get into the foundation course, let me tell you, in the foundation course, you will be definitely forced to learn something about organization, Indian constitution, operation of the government, etc., 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 etc. You may not take public administration now. But when you go to academy, when you go to any academy, the government of India, any training program, first and foremost thing would be public administration, organization, telling you the concepts of social justice, what are the concepts of constitution, basic tenets you have been told. How to organize your effort. You can't escape that. So my suggestion is better be prepared. Know something about what you are going to deal with it. A orientation program basically is to help you become familiar with the subject or the task that you are going to deal with. Right? Your public administration is more elaborate than the polity. Let me ask you one question. Some of you might be hearing about polity. You might have attended some classes in polity also. There is a proviso in the constitution which says that finance bill should be introduced in the Lok Sabha only with the recommendation of the President of India. Anybody know about that proviso? No? There is a provision in the constitution which says that you cannot introduce a money bill. It's called money bill. Money bill, budget or whatever is that, anything to do with money is money bill, without the recommendation of the President of India. This is what the polity says. My question is, why this provision has been made? Public administration will answer this. Polity will not answer this. Polity will only make a statement. It's Article 3119 or 118, which says that no money bill can be introduced in the parliament without the recommendation of the President of India. The reason why is a little bit complicated. Let me tell you one thing. Whenever we talk about government, we talk about government as one agency, very big agency. But in the government, we say there are certain executive agencies. Executive agencies are ministries. Then there are some other boards, etc., which are advisory bodies, like Central Board of CBSE, etc., etc., direct access, etc., boards are there. Apart from this, there are certain agencies which are called as constitutional authorities. They are called as constitutional authorities. And these are Supreme Court of India, Parliament of India, then you have Election Commission, then you have Union Public Service Commission, you have one more, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. These are constitutional authorities. Ambedkar calls them as pillars of Indian democracy. If any of this is not functioning properly, Indian democracy goes to dogs. Right? For example, let's say Supreme Court. If Supreme Court directly budgeted by the Government of India, that means the Prime Minister and Finance Minister. Let's say Government of India means executive agencies. Let's say budget is prepared by Finance Ministry. Finance Ministry is under the control of an FM. FM is under the control of PM. Am I right? PM controls Finance Minister. Finance Minister is controlling the finance budget and all. Right? Now, if the government's decisions are rejected by the Supreme Court every now and then. Suppose you say something, Supreme Court says no. You say something again, another decision, Supreme Court says no. What will be the mood of the government? What will be the mood of the government? It will not attempt. One is that. But would you not be angry with the Supreme Court? Or the agency? See, everything, whatever I am doing, they are rejecting, they are suppressing, they are not supporting it. So if I have to give budget to Supreme Court of India, what would I do? What would I do? What would you do? Will you give all the budget? They are asking for 100 crores. Now what you will do? Tell me. There is a saying, finance is the fuel of activity. Right? Understand what does it mean? If money is not there, no activity takes place. So what I should do if I want to suppress the Supreme Court of India? Instead of 100, I will say, I'll give 10. Something gone. Right? Now look at Parliament of India. Already it is under the control of the Prime Minister, that's okay. But otherwise, you will also stop the Parliament functioning properly. Right? Look at the Election Commission. All the members are nominated by the government. There is no independent body. Right? If the Election Commission is not liked, there is every possibility that he may be removed with somebody else. That means the Election Commission can also be brought under the control of the executive agency. Then UPSC, you people. If it is not a constitutional body, if that UPSC is dominated by, say, for example, a particular party in government, how many of you, neutral people, would be elected into the civil services? How many of you? All of you? Who will get priority? The party in power. Whether it's Congress, whether it's BJP, TDP, whatever it is that. Right? It will lose its neutrality. That's also done. Previously, Election Commission, there was only one person. Have you heard of one person's name called T.N. Seshan? T.N. Seshan was one who regulated the functioning of the Election Commission like anything, and the government also. It was he who imposed certain regulations, the regulations that were already there in the Constitution and the People's Representation Act. What he did was that he simply said, this is the rule, this is the law, you work according to that. That's all. He did not create anything new. And most of the time what has happened is that his decisions were not liked by the government. So what the government did was that they modified the People's Representation Act, and instead of one person, they introduced two more people. So A was there already, B and C were introduced again. B and C were brought in. And they said, decisions in the Election Commission will be taken by a majority. Right? B and C belong to the government. If they take a decision, A cannot do anything. So by making the Election Commission from single member body to a multi-member body, what they have done is that they have introduced their own people into the Election Commission. Okay? Now it is under their control. Right? Now come to the CAG. CAG has found so many financial gates, coal gate, information gate, telecommunication, so many gates have been opened where you found that misfinancial management has taken place. And at that time there was a proposal even to change the CAG from one member to a multi-member body, deliberately, by the Congress government at the time of Manmohan Singh and others. That was the period when Vinod Mehra, I suppose his name, he was the Comptroller and Auditor General. He was an appointee of Manmohan Singh. But he found that there was so much of scam in coal mining licenses. And now, these bodies, they don't report to the Prime Minister at all. These report to the President of India. So their budget requirement, financial requirement, directly goes to the President of India. Right? That means President of India gets a budget copy of all these agencies. Right? And the Prime Minister and his team, they will also prepare a budget requirements for this. Okay? Suppose Election Commission hangs 100 crores, they are angry with Election Commission, they'll give 25 crores, then that also goes to the President of India. That means President of India will get an opportunity to compare the requirement demanded by the constitutional authority and the financial provision that is given by the executive agency. If it is matching, he is happy. If he is not happy, if he is not matching, he is not happy. If the president is not happy, he will not recommend the financial document. If he does not recommend the financial document, what happens? Now tell me. Yeah, there's no budget for implementation. Then what happens? There's no standing committee. No activity will take place. That means the government will collapse. Finish. You see? Telugu telsa? Nobody knows. Some of you know. It is not enough if you have a door, but the door also should be locked. So the constitution has kept a door at one particular place and the lock and the key at some other place. By simply mentioning that the president has to recommend the money bill. See how the connection between one dimension and the other dimension is there. This is what is public administration does. Yeah, please. Chosen by party in power.
Now, in Constitution, what are the measures to prevent any interference so that president should not politicize it?
See, basically what happens is that once a person comes to the level of the President of India, first thing is they will be above local politics. That's one thing. Then one more thing is that there is a electoral college for President of India. The electoral college says that it will be the members of the parliament plus the legislative members of the states. There is every possibility India is a federation. Don't forget the fact that it's a federation. In a federation, the government of India might be headed and dominated by BJP, but the 29 states may be dominated by regional parties like TDP, YSRCP, Trinamool Congress or something like that. Then the Rajya Sabha composition would change. That means the presidential election could be more neutral. See, you have to look at the arrangements that have been made in a holistic perspective, not in a piecemeal manner. You should not have a tunnel vision. When you are dealing with polity, it should not have a tunnel vision. A broader arrangement. Why is India a federation? So that local aspirations can be achieved. How can a national party deal with the local aspirations? Is it possible? Delhi dealing with our problems, day-to-day problems in Telangana? It's not possible. Therefore, a local government is needed. Telangana state is formed. Is Chief Minister Revanth Reddy capable of dealing with every single problem that is there in every district? Not possible. Therefore, a district administration is there. Can a district collector deal with the problems of day-to-day administration of a village? A village panchayat is there. Localization. Get the point? So basically, public administration is analytical. Now, to understand this concept, do you have to remember something? If you have understood the logic, is it enough? This is how public administration deals with the situation. It only requires your common sense. logic, and a holistic perspective. Nothing more. Don't deal with public administration in a tunnel perspective. Something broader. And when you come to paper 2, right from paper topic 1 to topic 14, whatever is there, except 1 or 2 topics, the entire polity is elaborately covered. History, modern history. You have history, is it not? Ancient history also is there. We talk about Mauryan administration, ancient times. Medieval history is there. We talk about Mughal administration. Modern history is there. We talk about British administration. After Mauryan administration, the gap is so much that there is no country called India or Bharat or anything like that. So suddenly you have Mughal administration where you find that country has been united at least for some time. After that, the British have covered everything and they created India. Every single topic in paper 2 deals elaborately with the polity. And there is so much of overlap also. The topic is, there is one topic in the civil services syllabus which says union government. What are the agencies that are there in union government? Ministries, departments, etc., etc., etc. Then you have a secretariat. Then again, we have another topic. Here you have parliament also. Parliament, 2 houses. Union government. Then there is another topic called state government. What are the agencies in the state government? State government lo unna agencies. What are the agencies? What are the organs that state government has? Ministries are there. Then departments, assembly, then secretariat. See? It's a replica. There you have Rajya Sabha, in some of the states you have a legislative council. That's all. It's a replica. And the state assemblies follow the rules and regulations of Lok Sabha. The Parliament of India makes the rules and regulations for operation. The same rules and regulations are followed by every state assembly. So is there a need to study separately? Here, let's say that here there are 550 members in Lok Sabha, and here there are 250 members in Rajya Sabha. Here there are 175 and 18 like this. Numbers are not needed, is it not? So automatically one topic is less. Have you heard of Panchayat Raj? Why Panchayat Raj is created? For rural development, local administration, I told you. Right? We have a chapter on rural development and Panchayat Raj. Do you find these in the general studies? Don't you find Panchayat Raj in general studies? Do you find planning in economics? Planning is there. Public ed also has planning. Public sector, the role of public sector, how public sector has been functioning. It is there in economics, it is there in public administration. That means public administration is a subject that I call it as, what you can say, my baby or the one subject I like very much. So I call it as a crossroads discipline. If anybody denigrates public administration, I can't bear them. Crossroads means If you are standing at this crossroads and you are thinking which way to go, you are in a dilemma. Right? Once you cross the crossroads, you have integrated everything. Public administration is such that it is a paper that deals with political aspects. It is a paper that deals with administrative aspects or management aspects. It is a paper that deals with the legal aspects. There's a topic called administrative law. Every administrator will have to follow certain rules and regulations. If he doesn't follow, he will be punished. So we have a topic called administrative law. Then development administration. The entire country is under process of development, right? What are the basic concepts of development? What is development? That is discussed. We have a topic called development. Then I said public sector undertaking. Then I said planning. All these cover in all. Then there is another paper called ethics. You have ethics paper also, is it not? And most of the cases, what they talk about ethics is they talk about, what is that? Aristotle, somebody else. Actually, whenever we talk about ethics in public services. So they tell you the story of Aristotle, they tell you the story of somebody else or something else, ask you to identify what these ethics are. There is a great committee which was constituted in Britain. That committee is called as Nolan Committee. It said one of the ethics that we have to follow is selflessness. I don't know how many of you are following this. I think that middle word is forgotten. Right? Second thing, it talks about integrity. You know what is integrity? Integrity is functioning in such a way that you are not under obligation to anybody. In Government of India, there's a rule. Suppose your salary is, say, 3 lakhs. Okay? You want to construct a house or something like that. And you want to take some loan. When you are taking a loan, they will not allow you to take a loan beyond 1/3 of your salary. Or put it like this, they may give you a maximum loan of 2/3 of your salary. You know why? Suppose you are allowed to take a loan up to 2/3 of the salary, how much EMI you will be paying? Right? So after that, what is your take home? Right? Is the take home sufficient for you to survive for 1 month? No. Then what you will have to do? You will have to borrow some money from somebody else, or you will have to forego your integrity and start taking bribes. Suppose you borrow some money from somebody else, what he will do? He will demand some service, is it not? Have you heard the story of Merchant of Venice? Arts. No. Have you heard of Shylock? No, you might not have heard of it. Shall I tell you that story? See, a Merchant of Venice goes on a, business trip. He wants to take some merchandise. For buying that merchandise, he takes a loan from a person called Shylock. Shylock is always angry with this Merchant of Venice. This person is in love with one girl. He wants to marry her also. The Shylock, what he says is that, if you don't repay me the loan, you should give me a pound of flesh from your body. A pound of flesh from your body. The Merchant of Venice goes on a ship. There is a cyclone or tufan or whatever it is, that shipwrecking and everything, and then that fellow comes off. Shylock says, you have not paid me, now I'll have to take my pound of flesh. Right? Then he goes before the judges and all. They say, take the pound of flesh. He says, I want to take from his heart. What does that mean? Wants to kill. So every loaner, every person who gives you some money, some loan, he will demand the heart from you. Take the core from you. So that you are under obligation. That is the reason why integrity becomes one of the important ethics in your administration. Ultimately, what happens is that one lawyer or one judge, whatever is that fellow is very clever. He says, okay, you can take the pound of flesh. According to the agreement, it is only pound of flesh, not a single drop of blood. So, you cut down the flesh from wherever you want. But there should not be a single drop of blood falling down. Do it. See? Integrity means that you should not be obligated to any person. Openness. Honesty. Objectivity. These are the things that you have to do. So these are the ethics that are basically needed. So in your ethics paper also, questions would come around these ethics papers, ethic concepts only. That means public administration helps you to understand what ethics are. There are plenty of books that are available on ethics. Some of the books are really good. But if you start reading those books, I think it's better you go and join the Usmania University for MA, ethics or something like that. You can't be preparing for the civil services. The time that is required would be something different. You will never be able to attempt the civil services. Okay? Then, one more thing is that reforms. Public administration is reforming itself. We have reformed the Indian Constitution. We have reformed the Indian Constitution. We have reformed the, what is called, we had a CRPC, then we had a BNS, something like that. We have modified. Several things we are reforming. Right? So, there is a process of reform also. Public administration tells you why you should reform, what you should reform, when is the need for reforms. We originally, in our constitution, we had, do you know how many times the constitution preamble has been modified? Do you know what is the original preamble? That was the original. Later on we added sovereign, secular, socialistic, sovereign, secular, socialistic, democratic republic with unity and integrity, etc. Words have been added, modified. Preamble has been modified. They are reforming that. And the word socialism has also undergone a different meaning. Reformation. Socialism means making everybody equal. Egalitarian society. Egalitarian means everybody is equal. In a society where there are rich and poor, I can make everybody equal by two things. Make the rich man poor. Is it not so? Take away his property, finish. What Russia has done. There were so many people with lands they were not cultivating. Stalin at that time said, no, I will take away your land. He took the land. He said, you are also a laborer. Come and work in the cooperative farm. Take your wages and get out. That is one way. Other way is make the poor also rich. Further, what we will have to do is have to provide certain facilities, amenities. In the Indian context, there are two questions in public administration. One question says, paper 2, one question says the term socialism needs to be reformed or refined or understood again. Now, how do you understand socialism now? So what we are doing is that a necessary state will interfere on behalf of those people who do not have anything and help them become rich. Rich in the sense, have a better life, improved life, not necessarily rich. Okay? If I want to be rich, I will ask the government of India, make me a little bit better than Mukesh Ambani. That is rich, is it not? Is it possible? So, rich means different things. So, what the government has been doing is this. So, socialism has undergone a reformation. Supreme Court has also undergone reform. Now there are 33 people. Previously not many, only 8 were there. Election Commission, there was only 1 person, you made them 3. You are reforming everything. Previously, there was no 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment at all. Except Article 40 in the Constitution, Directive Principles of State Policy, which says that the state shall do the necessary things to organize village panchayats. That's all. Nothing more. Now you find that we are reforming. So, administrative reforms is another topic that is there in the syllabus. So, you will have an idea why reforms are necessary, how reforms are processed. Whenever you bring a big reform, there will be a lot of resistance. Whenever you bring reforms in small doses, people will accept it. Look at the petrol prices. Now, how much is the petrol price? 1? You are ahead? You are thinking about day after tomorrow also, is it not so? It's a 117, I suppose. Okay, I understand. There was a mechanism called APM, Administered Price Mechanism, where the government used to regulate the prices of fuel, petrol and diesel. Then our Manmohan Singh government said, this is very unfair. So what we should do is, we should link our fuel prices to the international fuel prices. So they dismantled this administered price mechanism. From then onwards, our fuel prices have become linked to the international fuel barrel prices. Okay? Reformation. And the initial days, the petrol which was costing 60 rupees per litre came down to 59 rupees per litre. Then afterwards, slowly, this is called incrementalism. If they wanted to, if the government wants more money, what it can simply do is, it can say, instead of 120, throughout the country, petrol will be sold at 200 rupees per litre. Can they say or not? If they say, what will happen? Huh? Don't tell me everybody will go to EVs. What will happen? Will change the government. So what the government is doing is that, now it is, their target is 200. So what they will do is 120, 25, 30, 35. What you are saying is only 5 rupees. Slowly I will take you to 195, 50 pies. Then I will say it's only 450, 200 rupees. How much you are paying? You are already paying 195 rupees, another 5 rupees. I'll take you there. This is also reformation. This is a policy called incrementalism. We simply increment it bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, so that people will not get the pinch of it. If I shift from 150 to 200 one day, 120 to 200, you can see what will happen. So these are certain plans, policies are there. Policy making is one of the important things. So we discuss policy making also in public administration. So it's a subject, let me tell you, it's a subject that touches everything under sun. Right? You want to install a solar panel? Approach the government. They'll give you a subsidy so that you can have a solar panel. Whatever you want to do, tell me, is there any single aspect of your life in which the government is not touching? Anything? The food you eat, government is touching or not? GST. The clothes, everything. Today, if there is a demand for EVs, it's because government is giving subsidy. It says no registration fee. You see? So there is no aspect that is untouched by government. Government is universal. And public administration deals how this government is functioning. The first paper basically is the theory paper. In the theory paper also, the core of the first paper is the first 1, 2, 3 topics which are most important. For 1, 2, 3 and the sixth topic are important. Paper 1. In dealing with paper 1 or paper 2, the time that is required is that paper 1 requires more time because it has got theoretical concepts. There are some ideas called scientific management. There's something called human relations experiments. There is something called decision making, how you take decisions. You decide on certain things, right? How you take decisions, how bias is there, how people will have to avoid bias, and how to inspire people, how leadership is. These are the aspects that are dealt with. They're elaborate. Therefore, paper 1 will take more time. Suppose if you have 100 classes, paper 1 will take something around 60 classes. Paper 2 may take a balance of about 30-35 classes, not more than that. That means a maximum of 3 months period is sufficient for you to prepare for your public administration also. Right? So paper 1 is completely theoretical and paper 2 is practical application. You are seeing how Government of India is functioning. Both are complementary to each other. And nothing needs to be remembered or by-hearted to provide an answer in public administration. Need not. Your common sense. I just mentioned to you the recommendation of the President of India. Is it not so? It is just common sense. If you are understanding that there is something called constitutional authority, something like this, you can simply understand. I need not tell you what is it. So it's conceptual. It requires holistic understanding. But you can't understand the whole thing at a time. Is it not so? Therefore, you have to go bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, by bit. Right? This basically is the idea of public administration. We are more analytical, more conceptual, and more practical than any other option. And if you look at it, the syllabus, there are 12 topics in paper 1, 14 in paper 2, but I said union government and state government together is one topic. Though there are 2 topics, it's one topic. Then you will find that there are several other topics that are overlapping with paper 1 and paper 2. For example, in paper 1, we have a topic called personal administration. In personal administration, we'll be dealing with recruitment, training, promotion, service conditions, pay, etc., etc. How generally this is carried on. In paper 2, we have the same thing in the topic called civil services in India. That means how these practices, recruitment practices, are incorporated into this. At one time there was a system. Nowadays you're talking about online exams and everything. Is it not? You're talking about online exams, entrance exams and all online. Is it not so? There was one lady, Minister for Personnel, Margaret Alva, during Indira Gandhi's time. She was one person, she proposed that, the civil services also will have a online exam. Way back, somewhere in 70s, 80s. They gave a name. They gave a name called CAPES. They gave the name CAPES. At that time, India was a novice in computers. We did not have computers. Nowadays, what is the cost of a computer? When I had bought a computer from my desktop, it costed me something around 57,000 or 60,000. And with a processor called Celeron processor, which is considered to be a second quality. Now, I think 10,000 is enough, is it not? At that time, they had this. But because of the expenses that are computers, etc., are needed, the government dropped the entire project. Otherwise, your prelims would have been done in one day throughout the country. Results will be out in a matter of 1 week, and you'll have almost 3 months or 4 months for your preparation for your mains examination. Now, why are you preparing for mains when there is a prelims examination in May? Any idea? No idea. If you look at the calendar of the UPSC, when is the prelims exam? May 24th, I think so. May last week. Sunday. Usually that is the period. And the results will come when? When did the results come recently? June? 15th June. So mid-June. When is the mains exam commencing? Any idea? 22nd? August. I want the month also. August. How many days are there between these two? Okay. Let's say, to make it convenient, June 15th. So 15 days here, July 31 days, then August 22 days. How much it comes to? 8, 5, 6, 68 days. What is the total marks that you will have to obtain to go for interview? What are the total marks of these civil services? 1750, right? 1750. In 68 days, you are saying 22nd is the examination starting. So on that day also you will prepare for exam? Like some girls, boys go reading behind the scooter, father is driving, they are reading behind the father and then going to the exam. Do you like that? No. So you can't prepare for 22nd. When shall you start your preparation? 21st? 20? 2 days enough? Shall I take his word? Or do you want more time? Tell me. Is it only preparation? Is also writing answers? Is it only reading or also writing answers? What is needed? Reading and writing, both are needed, right? At least you'll have to refine. At least 1 week gap should be there. So let's say that if your examination is on 22nd, let's say that you're stopping on 15th August. Independence Day, you're losing your independence on that day. Okay? In 2 months' time, preparing for how many marks? At least 50%. Nobody has got 50% in the UPSC prelims exam. Very rare. All the papers put together. Right? Is the time sufficient for you? Possible. And you have how many papers in GS? 4 or 5. Essay? Then you're optional. 7 papers. Imagine. 7 papers preparation in 60 days. How much time for you it will take to read a page? Ever tried reading a newspaper? At least 1 page of the newspaper? 1 page of your notes? How much time will it take? 5 minutes? Or even more? Not reading. Reading means understanding the idea also. Is it not so? At least 10 to 15 minutes. So, how many pages can you read in a year, in a day? You won't sleep? You won't eat? Nothing at all? Only at the book? You'll be a bookworm? You cannot really prepare. Therefore, the idea is that you start preparing for the mains now. When you start preparing for the mains now, today is June 24th. Forget about June, you start in July. July, August, September, October, November, December. You prepare for your optional subject. If it is an elaborate subject also, you have 7 months in your hand. And most of the time when you read economics or when you are reading anything for the mains, you are automatically preparing for the prelims also. When you are discussing public administration paper 1, paper 2, we are also preparing for polity of the general studies also. So when you start preparing now for optional subject, you have plenty of time to read slowly, understand the concepts, identify the questions, develop a technique of answering the questions, and get them rectified or corrected by the concerned faculty. This you can do now. No need to rush. Fools rush in where angels fear to walk. Okay? So then in December, you shift your focus towards prelims. Then you have how much? Mid-June is the prelims exam, May last week, right? So December, Jan, Feb, March, April. 5 months for your prelims preparation. This is the way you'll have to plan your strategy for preparing for prelims. That's why we always start with the mains. When you're talking about the mains, you are getting a broad picture. How many of you have played any puzzles, jigsaw puzzles? Jigsaw puzzles of India map, or jigsaw puzzles of animals. So, ఒక చిన్న మైనర్ స్మాల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ పట్టుకుని చూస్తారా లేకపోతే బ్రాడర్? ఫస్ట్ గెట్ ది బ్రాడర్ పిక్చర్. First we get the broader picture, then we decide where it should go, the head, the leg, whatever is that. Similarly, when you are preparing for the mains, you are getting a macro picture of everything, and in the macro picture you will be able to put the micro aspects. That is how the entire coaching system is evolved. Previously there were 2 optional subjects. Time was more needed. Now it is only done. You know, previously the exam used to be taken for how many days? 22 days. UPSC exam used to take 22 days. Now the whole exam is over in 5 days. Essay, languages, GS papers, optional paper. Finish out. Right? So you'll have to be prepared. You plan your strategy in this manner. I think this is the best way that you can plan your strategy for civil services. Now, I had given my idea about public administration. I explained to you the concept. I tried to put the practicality of it before you so that you will be able to understand and apply it. That's the way I go about. And what my method is that, suppose if I am taking a topic, the first topic is introduction or basic premises. Say, for example, there is a topic called public and private administration. There is a public administration and private administration. Then I would discuss questions that are related to that. I will tell you, sometimes I will tell you both are same. Sometimes I will tell you both are different. The question will define what you should. Sometimes the question says, though there are several similarities, public and private administration are completely different. Both are similar, but both are completely different. There is a difference. I will tell you how it is done. For example, in public administration, the most important focal point is service. The second important focal point is profit. Because if you don't have profit, you can't provide service. Right? There is a phenomenon in economics called flowing back. You get some money in return and invest that money back into your business so that your business can be updated and you can always, right? There's a flow back. So you need to get profit to improve your services and also to pay your salaries, employees, demands, etc., etc. There should be profit. At the same time, service. In private administration, service is secondary, profit is primary. If there has been no act called Corporate Social Responsibility Act passed by the Government of India, no business will ever bother about social responsibility. Nowadays, I find that, ITC and other companies, they are into everything. They are even selling notebooks for the children also. And they say, every rupee that you give, that you buy for this notebook goes to social responsibility. Why should I give 1 rupee? Why can't you give that 1 rupee? So even there, that is business. Actually, the cost may be 10 rupees. I am asked to pay 11 rupees. And that 1 rupee goes to social responsibility from the point of view of the ITC company, not from me. Brand image. Then people say, see, ITC is doing such a great service. It is contributing so much to education. CSR. But that 1 rupee is yours. So, we distinguish like that. What are similarities? Techniques are same. Management is same. Budget is same. Recruiting people is same. Removing people is same. Right? The rest of the techniques are same. So, I would say, in techniques both are similar, but in operational goals both are different. My answer is over. Why should you practice writing answers? Because some of the questions, they say write answer in 150 words. Some of the questions say 200 words or 250 words. You'll have to go with that limit only. You can't write as much as you want. Nowadays, the answer booklet is also so prepared that it does not allow you to go to the next page. Because in the next page, there is the next question. If you write an answer there, that is not regarded as an answer for the previous question. That is struck off. So, precision in writing is necessary. Why precision in writing is necessary? You can't give an elaborate answers, precise, to the point. You should learn the practice of giving answers to the point. Right? When you go to the higher levels in your career, precision is more important rather than elaboration. At the lower level, the clerks will do the elaboration aspect, and you are supposed to go to the nutshell of that and give an answer, a solution to that. Right? So precision is necessary. So that precision comes when you are writing answers. The more you write, the more precise you are. This is what I wanted to share with you. Yeah.
Like, update for the subject is last month. When history is being chosen, there is modern history or medieval history or modern history. In this public administration, either in syllabus or in practically,
Hmm.
questions comes up. They ask about the like Mughal administration.
See, as far as I had seen, if you look at the Mughal administration or Mauryan administration or even the British administration, the number of questions that have come has come down.
Actually, the historical aspect.
I think historical aspect has gone into background most. Very rare questions are there sometimes. That's all.
Basic question I asked. I'm not into competition actually. There is process to choose optional that's considered.
Please do.
Basically,
Basically,
a cardiologist.
cardiologist. Okay. That's how you're related to the heart, is it not? Okay.
We are in process to choose the optional for heart.
Please do.
Now it's public administration. These guys are going to in their future life. The basic thing. Why this subject is optional when it should be a basic?
You're right. There was a proposal at one time that those people who take public administration would be laterally entering into the civil services. It was a time. But that did not materialize. In rest of the world, mostly public administration started in United States. Unless you have a 4 weeks course in public administration, you are not entitled to join the government service. It should be made a compulsory subject rather than an optional subject. So it is the powers that be.
And we do an experienced person. Why the election commission was diluted after the session? Constitution was there before 40 years.
See, what has happened is that, the political parties ganged up. Let me tell you, be frank. Because Session was one person, he was very strict and according to the rules and regulations. No, he imposed a limit and said that, for a member of parliament election, not more than 25 lakhs has to be spent. There is a financial limitations are there. He started sending officers, for example, income tax officers, other officers, to watch and monitor how these people are spending money. Even now, you find that whenever elections are there are some observers are sent. IRS officers and other officers are sent. Right? So he started that practice. And with that, what has happened is all the political parties felt that, that may be endangering them. Because, nowadays, vote, people are voting not for the sake of the right that they have, but for the amount of money that people are offering. It is being sold. The right to vote is being sold. So at that time, he was doing that. But if that continues, then what happens is most of the political parties, they'll have a very negative image. So slowly,
There is no constitutional check on these pillars of democracy that it should not be.
there are. But the thing is that, slowly what's happening is that, see, whenever a constitutional amendment has to be made, the amendment has to be approved by both houses of the parliament. Right? With 2/3 majority of the members present and voting. What's happening is that so far there has been a protection. But nowadays, one party coming to power in most of the states has changed the balance in Rajya Sabha also. Right? So slowly what is happening is the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are having similar arrangements. That means if 60% of the seats in the Lok Sabha are with party X, another 60% of the seats or 80% of the seats are with the same party in the Rajya Sabha also. Therefore, it is easy to pass a constitutional amendment. It has been happening. And one more thing, I don't know whether you have observed or not. I am completely against one nation, one vote. Because when you talk about one nation, one vote, the elections will be decided by the government of India. At that time, suppose there is a small issue like, Uri or what is that, some Kashmir issue, Operation Sindoor or something like that. Tell me, where will people of India vote? To the party in power which has taken a revenge. Simple. National pride. You forget about local issues. Right? Even in the assemblies also you do the same thing. National level also you do the same thing. That means you find that the entire country has been ruled by one party, which has happened from 1957 to 1977. 1977. Indira Gandhi did that. She had that majority. Till emergency, she had that majority and she did whatever it wanted. And she has toppled the governments of states like anything. In Andhra Pradesh, there was a time when we were saying that, the list of the MLAs should be prepared in alphabetical order. There are 294 constituent seats. So what we should divide it by 5 years, 294 divided by 5, right? Something comes. From A to that number, first year, ministers. From next B to the second, another set for second year, like that. She has been changing governments, ministers, like anything, governors, everybody has been changing like that. So the same scenario is going to happen in the near future if you come for one nation, one vote. Then Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both are in the same stranglehold. It becomes very easy to modify the constitution. And even without that also, I don't know, the government has attempted several attempts to modify the constitution, unofficially. After the first election, when Narendra Modi came to power, when the Republic Day pageant was there, one word, secularism, was removed. It happened. Then when the new parliament assemblies have been, parliament buildings have been inaugurated, a constitution has been provided, and in that the word socialism has been removed. Unofficially, but nobody is questioning it. If you don't ask a question, nobody will give an answer. And if you ask a question, then automatically you are against the nation. Like anything else, anything you want to know about public administration. So I don't know whether I have made my subject interesting to you or not. I don't know how many of you would be joining me. So I'll leave it up to you. Anything you want to ask me, you can ask me. So the syllabus requires only about 80 to 90 sessions. That means about 3 months period. We'll be able to complete it. Most of the time would be on paper 1. The other one would be paper 2. So slowly what happens is when you come down to section B of paper 1, you find that more of Indian polity also would be coming into it. So there is a mixture. It comes to automatically that. So you said you are about to choose. So any questions that you have? Not to choose or to choose? No. You are clear not to choose, clear to choose. No, the subject is it's a simple subject which demands common sense. And it doesn't demand any learning by rote and reproduction. If you are working, your working knowledge can also be a good input into your answers. It also touches your contemporary events also. Your current events also comes a part of it. Whatever happens, that also you can add. So constantly it updates the concepts.
Have you seen any conflict in the papers when these papers come from the subject and in theory and theory of principles and practically what happens?
See, I said there is one principle of Nolan Committee's recommendation, honesty. I find that is not there.
No, but where students will get confused. There is a practical answer to is a practical answer.
You see, the thing is that, you have a theory, but the situation keeps on changing from time to time. So your theory gives you a base. On that, you will have to take a take a decision on the basis of the situation. You cannot give a concrete answer. Say, for example, you are an IPS officer. In the training program, they tell you how to disperse a mob. Let's say that there are 3 methods of dispersing a mob. One is cane charge. Second is lathi charge. Third is water cannon. Fifth is firing. Firing, okay? No. What will the the instruction book will tell you? Beyond this, is there anything else the instruction book will tell you? Will it tell you now what is the situation? Now use firing. Now use water cannon. Then then what you will have to do? Your judgment. That's what is required. You are empowered to do that. And that too, when you are firing, again there is a couple of things are there. Firing above the heads. Firing below the knees. When you fire below the knees, people will fall and run away. When you fire above, people will run away. But if you fire straight, not only mob, you will have a lot of dead bodies. So your judgment. I can use cane charge, I can use lathi charge, I can use tear gas, I can use water cannon. Depends on the situation. I will not go back to the National Police Academy and ask the director, why have you not introduced a solution for this? I cannot ask. So administration is basically a judgment. What we are trying to do is give you some balances, some weights on which you can judge whether it is right or wrong. That is what is your integrity, that is what your leadership, honesty, objectivity. There are so many rational factors are there. Taking all the factors into consideration, then, say for example, you are a doctor. What is the dosage that you will give to a patient when a patient comes to you? How do you decide that? On the situation, on the weight of the person. You will take all these into consideration. My doctor, whenever I say I want something, he will take a calculator and ask, say, you take only this much. So it's a judgment. So public administration also is giving you a lot of discretion, opportunity for judging. So here is where you have to apply your mind. That is why there is no question, there is no one particular right answer for a question. I said public administration is different. I can also say that public administration is same to private administration. I can give an answer this way or that way. That is my discretion. Depends on the question. Right? The question said public administration, private administration are similar. I will say only the techniques are similar. I will not go into the goals. Though they are similarities, they are different. Therefore, I will answer the point which is different. I will extend the answer and say this is what the differences are there. So it depends on where to stop and when to stop. What aspects you will have to include. Okay? Anything else? No. They don't give you crimes and ask you to analyze. They don't do that. No, you don't need that case studies. You don't need that case studies. Because there are so many cases that will be there. Paper 2 is basically asking you to see case studies in the sense, there may be 1 or 2 case studies, for example, in civil services. For example, bribery or corruption or something like that. There may be 1 or 2 case studies. But otherwise, there are no case studies. We talk of a method of case study. Why do you take a case study? Is because you cannot study all the cases. You take a sample. Right? So you cannot test every single person and say the heart is on the left side. You take 1 or 2 samples and then you find that is happening. We have different logic. One is called inductive logic and deductive logic. We apply both. From 1 to several, from several to 1. We use both. So sciences also use that. Everywhere we have that. Basically, have you heard of Leonardo da Vinci? Have you heard of Mona Lisa? Who painted Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci. He is not only an artist, he is also a scientist. He is one person who first attempted to fly by tying some feathers to his hands and trying to jump and broke his hands and then. So science and art are not different. The art is there in science is there in art. Right? So that kind of a distinction you can forget about it. There are no case studies. Particular case studies are not there. Nobody is going to ask you what has happened in this particular case. It's a very rarity. I like to have some freedom, so only 5 days. Saturdays, Sundays are my own. At least you should also get refreshed, is it not, from your boredom? Anything else? So, shall we stop here? Any questions or anything? Anyway, I'll give my number and my name. I don't know how many of you know my name, but anyway, I can give something. My name is Ravi Kumar. The DM is not, I'm not a district magistrate. That's my surname. Okay. My number is, but if you want to get in touch with me, please first message me saying that I am so and so, I would like to discuss something with you. Then I'll get back. Otherwise, I will not respond. First a message, then you can call. Any questions, anything at all? See, one thing I know is that most of you are not really aware of the Indian democracy or anything like that. You only think of constitution, but you don't know the fundamental aspects of Indian constitution or Indian democracy or democracy at all. Right? Therefore, I will suggest one book for you to read before you get into preparation for any of the options in the civil services. Because you are working in a democratic society. The first book that you should read is Democracy 80 Questions. That is the first book. There are only 80 questions are there. Each page has a question and answer. Right? This book is available in National Book Trust or in the publications division or whatever it is. It's about 150 rupees or something like that. This will give you fundamental questions of democracy. For example, there are different systems of electoral systems. There is something called proportionate representation, preferential representation, Gallup poll, something like that. So many varieties are there. What is the difference? Why they are there? I said neutrality and anonymity. Why neutral? Civil servant has to be neutral. Why civil servant has to be anonymous? Why Supreme Court has to be independent? What are fundamental rights? Why? Who is CAG? What are his responsibilities? These kind of questions are answered. If you are preparing for these 80 questions, I think you have a very good understanding of functioning of Indian democracy. This should be a starting point. After that, if at all, if you are interested in public administration, you can take up this book, Public Administration by Sadhana and Sharma. This is a general textbook that covers most of the syllabus. That should be okay. But Don't touch this unless you do this. It's fundamental. Why both houses are there? What is federalism? What is the difference between unitary and federal government? We have two houses. Why two houses? That is upper house and lower house, etc. All these are fundamental questions that are there. They are answered there. Then you can jump into whatever you feel like you can read. Anything else? So, any questions? Anything to ask me? Let me ask you, are you comfortable with my speech? The way I speak? Am I not rushing, throwing something at you fast? You are able to understand. This is the way I go about. Right? So keep that also in mind. Okay? Shall we split? Okay then. Thank you.